Tonight, we invited Jon to speak with you about a story that will change your life. Jon Berghoff is an extreme endurance athlete, and last year, he chose to attempt to run 100 miles consecutively. We wanted to have Jon come to share the story of his journey with you because we know your journey in life will never be the same. We truly are honored to bring up Mr. Jon Berghoff.
Now, at mile 49, I caught up to a guy named Billy. And one of the things about running a race, any race, whether it's this journey that I'm talking about or it's your journey, is this. It's important to be around people who are on the same path. It's important to be around people who are going where we are going. You see, I caught up to Billy, and I asked Billy a question. We were at about mile 49. First question I asked him, how many ultramarathons have you run? Over 100. I thought, good person to hang out with. I'm going to keep pacing with them. So I start pacing with Billy. Now I'm thinking, okay, this is good. I'm with the right type of person. Everything's good. But it's so important running a race of this length to not go too fast because somebody else is, and to not go too slow because somebody else is. And what happened is I ran with Billy for about 2 or 3 miles. And then I forgot to ask him, I realized I had forgotten to ask him an important question. So I asked Billy, I said, Billy, you've run 100 ultramarathons. How have you done in this race? He said, this is my 5th attempt. My first 4, I finished with a DNF. Did not finish. And I'm like, whoops, Billy, see ya. Gone. I had to get him away from my energy. I later found out that about 2 miles after that conversation, he dropped out of the race. So I make it up to the top of Shermans Gap, and when I got to the top of Shermans Gap, I remember I went down on one knee because it was physically grueling. To give you an idea, Shermans Gap was 3.5 miles up. Well, to walk 3.5 miles, most of us could do that you could run it in 30 minutes, you could walk it in an hour. Because it was all brush and rubble and no path in the middle of the night, and I'd already gone 65 miles, it took me about 3 hours. 1 mile an hour. It was very difficult. I remember sitting on the top, I got down on my knee thinking, that was the most difficult thing I've ever faced. And I started reflecting on it, and I made a recording. Did you play it for me, Brian?
I'm at about mile 80, and I think I just reached the top of Shermans Gap. And I can't even believe what I've seen these last 2, 3, 4 miles. This has been the toughest physical, mental challenge that I think I've ever seen or been through. People ask why do you do this? And as weird as it sounds, right now, this is why.
It was a feeling that is hard to describe. It was an ecstasy. If any of you are trying to get off any drug, go to Shermans Gap. It was unbelievable. And right then in that moment, I was kneeling on the ground and I made a vow to myself. I made a decision that from that point forward, if at any time in my life I felt like I was going to break down, just to remind myself I was about to break through. I told myself right then and there, I said, here's what I learned today. What I learned today is that whenever the little voice says to me, you can't, shut it off and ask for the one that says you can. I learned right then and there, I said, this has told me that if I have a setback, I'm turning it into a comeback. Right then and there, I reminded myself that pain equals growth. And we all will feel pain on our journey. And I'm not talking about the bad pain. I'm talking about, and I know all of you have heard this, but the pain of discipline. You know, it weighs ounces. What is it? And the pain of regret weighs tons. And right then and there, I thought, this is an experience that I'd love to figure out how to have again without running 80 miles. But all of you will have that experience this summer. When you feel the pain, just remind yourself, that was your Shermans Gap. I'm going to leave all of you actually with the same 4 questions that I left with last year. The first question I have to leave you with is why? Why would somebody run 100 miles? Why would you be here? Why would you embark on your own priceless journey? And of course, the answer to the first question is the second question, which is, why not? You know, this is something that we've all learned. We all know this, that it doesn't require any more energy to be positive than it does to be negative. So why not? And my third question for you is, why not now? Interesting side note, if she's in the picture on the far right, the white t-shirt, this is the woman who has been organizing this race for 30+ years. Good person to ask about life. So I ask her, I say, you've seen more people come through your run than any other living person has watched come through any type of ultramarathon. And I asked her, why is it that the average age of the ultramarathoners is 41 years old? And I would encourage all of you to ask yourself the question, why not now? Because while many of us are young, maybe in college, if we were to go ask our friends, hey, why not succeed right now? Well, it's easy to justify, hey, I'm young and just want to have fun. And I'm all about having fun. But you ask some of the same people 5, 10 years later, how about now? And they go, well, maybe I don't have a family yet or a car or any major commitments. I don't need to commit. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to create my own priceless journey. But then you go ask 85% of Americans, and you heard Lloyd mention this to open up the meeting. And depending on who you ask, there's a large percentage of people in this country who they don't enjoy their job so much every day when they wake up. And then you go, Adam talked about finances. Statistically, at the age of 65, somewhere over 90% of people are not able to support themselves financially because they never ask the question, what? Why not now? And when I asked this lady, why is it that the average age is 41 years old? She said, John, that's a great question. I don't know if I have a better answer than it just takes people that long to figure out that they're capable of anything they want. Now close your eyes. My last question for you is, why not me? Because if it's not you, it will be the person next to you. If it's not the person next to you, it'll be the person next to them. So when you think about why you're here this weekend in celebration of 2008, and to get excited about 2009, and you think about your journey, why not me? Why not me to take it to the next level? Why not me to do what I've never done? Why not me to have a great time and prosper and lead myself, my team, the company, whatever it's going to be for you? Everybody, I've enjoyed your time. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. Thank you for the gift, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you very much.